Mr. President, I rise today to discuss an amendment.
The senator from Missouri is recognized.
I thank the President, and I rise today, Mr. President, to discuss an amendment that's been filed by my friend Senator Moran that I'm proud to be a supporter of. This amendment would stop the Federal Aviation Administration from targeting air traffic control towers across the country, including the towers that are considered to be in the contract tower program under sequestration. As I've said before on this floor and will continue to say, many of these problems will be resolved, I'm convinced, if the Appropriations Committee does its work, and that work is recognized and debated on the floor. And hopefully we're not having this same kind of discussion October 1 when we begin the new spending year. But the impact of sequestering, cutting from this account is real. Senator Moran's amendment is important. It's something that the communities served by these towers could be impacted by, and this amendment tries to be sure that these communities aren't impacted. In our state, there are Branson and Joplin, in Columbia, in Jefferson City, and St. Joseph. All those could be affected depending on how the FAA administers this cut in the contract tower line. A number of other airports in Missouri, including Springfield, downtown Kansas City, and downtown St. Louis, could lose their towers in the after midnight service, and those planes that now land there after midnight would either not do that or would do that without the support of the tower that they have now that assists in landing. This amendment of Senator Moran's would protect those towers as well as the federally funded portion of 16 cost-share towers, which also could be closed at the end of this fiscal year. Specifically, this amendment takes $50 million from one place in the FAA. In fact, it's $50 million in research and capital funds that is money that could easily be set aside for this short period of time so that these towers don't close, and then Senator Moran would add $50 million in the Federal Aviation Administration operations account. It makes it clear, the amendment makes it clear that the contract tower program and contract tower cost-sharing programs are subject to the 5% sequestration cuts, but again would transfer enough money within accounts that there should be money to keep these important towers open in Missouri, in Kansas, in Maryland, in Alaska, in every state, and many states, almost every state has something that would be impacted by this contract tower. This $50 million would be more than 95% of the estimated money necessary to be sure that the contract tower program and the cost share program would stay in place. If you're using one of these airports, if you've bought a ticket to travel out of one of these airports, if you're a general aviation customer at one of these airports, the tower is one of the things that you have expected your tax dollars to be spent on. And what Senator Moran is doing is just trying to find a way to do that that still allows sequestration to occur, that still keeps the spending below the spending cap in the law. And it really is exactly in sync with the spirit of the law as well as the letter of the law. It just tries to solve a problem. You know, I'd like to solve this problem with in another way by just saying that federal funds and employees who are involved in public safety have to be prioritized as people that would show up. And we're going to move forward with that particular view legislatively if we can't get it added to this spending bill that gets us from now till the end of the year. And again, Mr. President, it's my hope that we're not talking next year about how we get to the end of the year, because we figure out how to get to the end of the year at the beginning of the year. That doesn't sound like an incredible goal for the Senate to have, but in a Senate that hasn't voted on a single appropriations bill for 16 months, updating the spending in 70% or so of the spending, 5 of the 12 bills, 5 of the bills that spend 70% of the money. In this added to this continuing resolution, I think is in the spirit of what our new chairman wants to do, what our new ranking member wants to do, and what the Senate should want to do, which is let's deal with these things in the regular way, let's debate spending in the regular way. I would very much like to see Senator Moran's amendment included in what we're doing today. And just as importantly, I want to work with Senator Moran to see that as we look toward October 1, these kinds of issues don't have to become a regular part of our process, but are the kinds of things that we'll look back and say, remember we failed to do our job the regular way and all the problem that created. Let's get back to regular order, and I would yield.